This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, calling to order the Housing Authority meeting, Southampton, 6:02 p.m. on April 2nd. And the first thing on our agenda, always open time for the public. No members of the public are here, so we're going to move on to approving minutes from our March meeting. So Janet so kindly sent them out again for us to look at and find easily. Thank you for that.
Know my audience.
Yes. So I looked at them, they look good to me. Does anyone need to see them again, or do we have a motion to approve them?
I'll move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous approval of minutes. Thanks, guys. Next up, we have 354 College Highway next steps. Okay, so I've got some updates for y'all. Trying to remember where we left it last. So Barry was working. Oh, right. We gave Barry the dimensions of the house so he could create the septic. And we had the ESA done, and I sent that over to Megan from Habitat. And Barry, I have not gotten the septic design back from yet. But and I meant to check in with him this week, and I just simply have not had time to do that. But I believe in him. It's going to happen. I can double check what my last communication was with him. I know I should have done all of this ahead of time. He said, okay, well, he got started on March 10th, so he should be done pretty soon, if not already. So when I sent Megan from Habitat for Humanity, which, as you may remember, is our most promising developer for the site, our environmental site assessment, she came back to me with some concerns. Now, this is like the last thing I want in life is like we're like trying to check off this list, and she's like, "Wait, so you checked this thing off that we asked for, but it has actually given me some follow-up questions." So I want to share those with you guys and tell you all about it. So her first question was on the ESA, there's a reference to like the user who answered the user questionnaire, and like maybe the user has to be the developer. And so she asked me about that. Luckily, I had already asked GZA about that, and they had already explained it and given me some information. So her first question, I was able to easily answer. Her second question was on the
Sarah,
ESA.
is this all on email so you can send me the email? So I
Sure,
don't.
let me do that now before
I mean,
I
you don't need. I
forget.
just want it for the minutes. That's all.
That makes sense. Okay. Let me find this. Okay. Forward, Janet.
Thank you.
So, her second question was that the ESA said that there was a significant data gap because there was snow on the ground and they couldn't see the ground cover. Now, kind of wish they had like given me a heads up that this was a thing, so we could have said, wait, like it's actually more important that we wait and get this all the way done. But I also didn't really realize that would be an issue. And so Megan said, can they redo it when the snow is gone? I haven't answered that question yet. That's something we can discuss. And then her third question was, I'll read you this quote. Under business environmental risks, it says, this phase one ESA revealed the following business environmental risk. Future development activities at the subject property might encounter residual contamination in soil or groundwater related to the alleged unauthorized use of subject property. Impacted material must be managed either on or off the subject property in conformance with applicable federal, state, and local regulations. And so she said, we have some concerns about that. Do you have any other valuable information about the unauthorized use from the Board of Health? And so I contacted Jerry and Charlie. And Charlie said he thinks this alleged unauthorized use is referring to, and I can forward this to you as well, Janet, but he thinks that's referring to someone who may have lived in like a shed on or near the property in like the 1800s. And he says, we didn't have modern chemicals back then. It was like a dude with a knapsack and a sleeping bag. And he was like, so I don't think you need to worry about that. So I think that's if you, I don't know who else could possibly know anything else about this, right? Like, if you can think of other people, I could ask this question, but that seemed to be his response seemed to be, don't be concerned about it.
So but it's not the fact that they transferred manure to the site. That's not what they were referring to.
No, and that's what I thought that they were referring to, but apparently not, because that would not be unauthorized,
Right.
I guess.
Well,
But I guess unauthorized may refer to. So apparently, I sent him. I wasn't sure what they were referring to, but they asked me to send. Jerry said, "Can you please send the full ESA so we can look at it?" And so they looked at the whole thing, and that was what they parsed out from that.
Okay.
ESA is,
Environmental site assessment.
thank you.
That's like the big many-page document that they sent. And as a non-professional in that area, I was a little daunted by looking. I didn't read the whole thing very closely because it's like 90 pages. So let me just forward you Charlie's email as well, Janet. So
Okay, great, thanks.
okay. One would think that they had a knapsack with clothing and some food. 1850 to 1950s. Okay, so I will send that to Megan as well. But the question is, what do we want to do about this request for redoing an ESA when the snow is gone?
My only thought is that maybe GZA would give us
Like a partial
updated
discounted.
thing and just, rather than charging us all from the beginning again.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
maybe I'll reach out to GZA next and just say, what would that look like?
How
yeah,
much did it cost to begin with?
I think it was 3,500.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot to ask for.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, okay, cool. So I'll figure that out next. And then I wonder, like the snow is pretty much gone now, so we could potentially get this done before our next meeting. Do we want to vote in advance to potentially spend up to a certain amount of money on this like sort of update, or do we want me to find out the deal first and bring a proposal to us and have us vote on it?
If it's a deal breaker for habitat, is that the way we should think about it?
I guess I don't know how much of a deal breaker it is.
Yeah,
I
no.
almost feel like we could do the RFP and be like, sorry, there was snow on the ground. Like, you're really not going to take this offer because of that. But the other part of me wants to at least investigate and see how much it would cost. So maybe let's wait to decide on this.
Yeah, I guess feedback from GZA would be, I mean, it may not be a big deal for them, but was the whole thing snow covered? And they may roll their eyes and say, you don't really need that.
Yeah. But
So,
they did describe it as a significant data gap in their report, which like, if you're,
GZA did?
yes, I would have appreciated
If they told
knowing
you
that was going to be a
beforehand.
thing, but okay.
So GZA did the ESA.
Yes, you're
All
following.
the initials are really confusing.
I know, and I don't know what GZA stands for, but their full name is GZA Geoenvironmental.
Yes, I just looked that up. That's why I know what I'm talking about right
Yes.
now.
So it was a significant, what did they say it was? Significant
Data gap.
data gap. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it sounds scary, right? So let me see what the deal is with that. And at the same time, I need to, have any of you worked on an RFP since the advent of Scott instead of Ed being the town administrator? Or know what the new process is?
No,
Okay, so I'm gonna have to,
but I think Bradley's sort of involved in that somehow because he was at some meeting we were talking. I don't know if it was the senior center building, his new role. I think he's involved in RFPs. So
okay. Well, Bradley is honestly a little easier to get a hold of than Scott, so maybe I'll give that a shot. Because I don't want to delay this. Like we have the scope of work written up that we wrote like years ago. So, I just want to know what the next step is to turn that into an RFP. Okay. Anything else on 354 College Highway?
I think that was enough.
Okay, I think so too. Um, we've got Mr. Johnson in the waiting room. I guess I'll let him in because we're just about to talk about Zero College Highway, which is a little bit timely, and I have no idea when our next meeting is. So,
Okay.
so I have no updates from that Zero College Highway planning process because we haven't had another meeting since our last meeting. But I know that the survey is closing April 5th, so get everyone to fill it out if you can. Um, Also, like when we do surveys like this, how do we know people aren't just, it's not like they're checking IP addresses, right? People could just be signing up on multiple devices or even on the same device and just answering what they think over and over again, couldn't they?
They could. We could. I mean, they could.
I mean, they could. And then I'm like, should we do that in
Well
advance of
said.
assuming other people are doing that? No, would never. Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
Stephen,
I'm sorry I
how
was
strong
late.
do you think
Traffic.
How strong do you think the security is on that Zero College Highway survey? You think they're checking IP addresses for duplication?
I completely agree with Janet. She's a wise person.
I already voted for you at the caucus, okay?
There we go. No, no, no. It's I think you said it exactly right. It will give us the benefit of having reached out, and we may hear some things that we haven't heard otherwise. I think if you were to sort of tally the votes and drive it forward in a very sort of mathematical way, that would be wrong.
Hmm, guess
But
that's true.
it's more feedback driven than it is numbers driven, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I
but it would
think
be
it's
nice.
qualitative rather than specifically quantitative.
Yeah.
The who is the survey is being done by the
Pioneer
That
Valley Planning Commission.
and yeah, PVPC and
so do they have people who are um experts in doing surveys? I would think they
No, they
yeah.
have people who do surveys all the time who are not
Yeah.
experts.
Oh,
Yeah.
This
well,
this is their job, and they provided us an opportunity to give feedback on questions. Now, who's us? There's a whole telescoping set of engagement. Starts with the sort of contract group, which is Scott, the town administrator, Randall Kemp, and myself. And we just kind of make sure that things are steering right and staying on track. Then there's a group that includes Sierra and forgive me, I can't remember who all else that represent
me?
various interest groups and energy. People were willing to commit to a certain number of meetings. That planning group is not yet scheduled, but expected to meet next week.
Okay, that was going to be my next question because I don't have a meeting on the books, but I know we're supposed to meet again. So
Right.
that's going to be a
So
surprise.
the timelines are relaxing a little bit because of changed circumstances, but nonetheless, um, next week the project planning committee should meet, and then there's another public, the whole community meeting when we have helped filter down to a smaller set of options that the public can re-engage and say, oh, wow, this is great. I could live with either, but I prefer this. Well, that's what we hope. And that is to be scheduled specifically, but I know Scott's looking for a time at the school. May.
Um, so what was I going to say? Oh yes, but I did hear that they're thinking of putting off the um safety complex vote until fall meeting. So I can see why things are slowing down a little bit.
The
Um,
The school budget issue is a daily adjustment for us
Yeah.
to try and figure out.
I see people complaining on
The,
Facebook about
the
it.
school budget issue for this year,
this coming year.
because,
Well, because of about 5 past years to begin with, we're being presented with um, bills that we should have been presented with in the normal course of business in prior years. But without getting into too much of the detail, which I don't fully understand, central office failed to present bills, and we have to make up, what is it, Dan, $500,000 prior years.
and
And
is
then,
that, is that Norris or the other
yes,
district?
that
The region?
that is Norris, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go this deep, but it's the central office that does a certain part of the bookkeeping for Norris and is supposed to bill us, and the bills were not received and paid timely, so now we have to make up.
Ooh, that sucks.
So that
Um,
really sucks. But
There's,
that's not really the issue that you're hearing about because that's going to be dealt with out of reserves or something. The issue that's facing us in the coming fiscal year and then knock on every following year is that the district negotiated a new contract with teachers.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's a good thing. And
Yeah.
I support that. But when you tally it up, that was nearly a 20% increase year on year operating budget for the school's entire or just Norris, Dan?
Hmm.
I think the school's entire.
Hey, I have a
And
really,
that's why the override. And that's why the rethink about the public safety building vote when that would roll out. And then of course the senior center vote when that should roll out
Right. Try not
and
to overwhelm
everything else
people.
that enables
Oh,
us to build those like some more consulting time and money.
And Dan was gonna try to see.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just forward you the information I have on it so you guys can read about it in your spare time, all that spare time you have. So it's just some good background information about what the root causes of the increase are to Norris School. So
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I know that I supported the teachers union when they were pushing for that. So
Sure,
good for
sure.
them. I mean, it sucks that things cost money, but you can't just not pay for them. As much as
Well,
people would like that to be the case.
so just to put my cards on the table, I'm with you. A new contract for the teachers and a proper staffing plan, I'm good with that. I'm really disappointed that we have these bills in arrears
yeah.
because of lack of
Okay.
fiscal controls,
Right.
financial controls.
But there's a select
And
meeting tomorrow, right? That they're talking about all of this.
Mm.
oh my God, yes,
There's going to
it's
be
already
some members of the
Wednesday.
public at that one.
Can I ask one question that's still not about the housing authority, but about schools?
Sure.
How much of the school budget comes from the town?
which school?
Norris.
I
Norris
guess,
School.
no,
Yeah,
I guess,
all of it.
no, pardon?
All of it minus whatever parts we get from the state
I think
and or
the
federal.
cherry sheet's about 2.7. So I don't know if that's divided between the school, the high school and Norris, or if that's
Yeah.
So, Jenny, you
So
said 2.7 million, is that what comes from where?
from the cherry sheets from the state.
I
we
don't
paid
know
like
what that is.
$10 million for
It
this.
comes from the state.
It comes from the state.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
about 60% or more of the budget is school for the fiscal year.
Okay, all right,
And that
that's
same
pretty typical.
60% applies. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I thank you.
we're part of the regional school system for the upper grades.
Yes.
And because we're the most populated community in the region, our share of operating, I'll call it the high school, whatever the whole complex is about 60% of that budget.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
people
We,
don't like that.
as one town out of 6 or 8, we have the majority of the population.
Because we're such a urban, highly populated area. But I learned
Oh,
only recently that West Hampton has like 1,500 people in it. I had no idea that was so small. I was like, oh, kind of a mid-sized
it's
town over
all
here.
relative. It just is what it is, and it's onerous if something goes awry because we carry the lion's share of the problem.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so let's get back on topic here. So,
Sorry.
is there anything else we need to discuss regarding Zero College Highway?
Sure. So circling back to the first circle of contact with our planners, Scott, Randall, myself, we got a preview of what they're working up based on input from public meetings. Well, the whole progression of everything from reading our plans, including the housing production plan, master plan, and open space plan, and committing it to memory, and there will be a quiz. But building off of what they heard from the Public Safety Building Feasibility Committee, Senior Center, Greenway, plus the public input from all these myriad sources, they have about a dozen different concepts that are
Oh,
super exciting. And so Scott, Randall, and I helped them with, yeah, this resonates, that doesn't. We need to whittle it down and we need to get the project team back together. And that would be Sierra. And I'm not sure what your time budget is here, but I could pop up the slides from what was shared with us.
Um, what do you think, Housing Authority? Do we want to spend more time on this or do we want to move along?
how long is it, Stephen?
No, it's completely elastic and it would be 10 minutes or more.
Is it something you can share with us, like email to us, and then we can kind of digest it?
That would be best probably because the slide deck I got is more than 30 slides and they were rehashed after the
Mm,
conversation with Scott and Randall. And so it needs to be reduced by, yeah, reduced to 20% of that or something. And then we can engage. But the concepts are the frontage is a really limiting factor. The zoning will probably have to go outside of our current zoning to get this permitted, not specifically for the municipal facilities, public safety, senior, they're allowed, but for housing at any medium scale is beyond what's contemplated in our zoning.
Mhm.
And
So that's a whole
we
thing.
can talk about stormwater and septic and water supply. That's all going to be managed. That's all fine. But
Mhm.
I think what we're looking at is a lot of open space because, again, cards on the table. I don't think sewer is going to be affordable. I don't think that there's a way that the entire community will get behind sewering a portion of the town. And
Yeah.
therefore the burden would be too severe on those served, even though it opens up quite a lot of potential on the site we're looking at, and it really protects the aquifer, right? If we're going to concentrate development intentionally to relieve pressure on the hinterlands. It's a good planning concept. We've been protecting the hinterlands and we've been protecting the farms. So we got to make this stand for concentrated development. But first, housing. We can do 40 or 60 units of housing, depending on how it looks, on septic, with both of the public facilities on septic. That's meaningful. No
Yeah.
shade, right? That's where
Sure.
we started.
Yeah.
If we wanted to look at like 2 or 3 phases of housing development or styles of housing, right? Because Wayfinders is, I think, motivated to do 100% qualifying affordable rentals.
Mhm.
So if we want to have a different model, like middle income workforce housing, townhouses that are maybe a little bigger and therefore a little more expensive, or even mixed use commercial with rental. I'm not sure whether that rental is less expensive or more expensive because it's on top of the commercial. And who's occupying the commercial anyway? So these are a whole bunch of questions. You see how elastic this time could
Yeah.
be. It's part physical planning, but it's if I could summarize, it's we're really taking a practical look at how can we roll this out with a manageable amount of debt? How can we quickly leverage state and federal funds, whatever's left, and existing timelines for the Greenway and the safe paths to schools and all that?
Yeah.
It's 4-dimensional chess, but I'm happy to share whatever. What One of the bottom lines is, 40 to 60 units of housing looks quite plausible. A very
Well,
green kind of setting in community. Not so many residents as compared to seniors or firefighters, but whatever.
mhm.
And and then Greenway trail users. It's going to be wonderful.
Well, that makes sense. It's good as much as I'm bummed that sewer is seeming like a bridge too far, or maybe a pipe too far. It's nice to have a decision made because that question of sewer or not sewer was sort of like stalling us out a little bit with a lot of things. So it's good to sort of just know where we're going and so we can keep moving forward. And
Good
maybe
point.
one day the sewer will come when the government is fixed and everything is happy again.
So here's a planning challenge. If we're going to have a minimalist footprint with our development and the gray infrastructure that we're going to invest in, what are we going to do with the green land that's untouched? APR? We're we're looking at a property that has a lot of prime soils,
Hmm.
prime farmland soils, and we're between 2 APRs. And what I've learned from knocking on doors and talking to neighbors is that the APR program has, over the years, expressed an interest in adding in Southampton to sort of bridge these. So if we're looking at a buffer zone um, along the farm, the Fletcher farm, and that might be subsidized in part with an APR.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
And so then it wouldn't be available to house it. If
right.
we expanded that notion and worked with somebody else to put a CR over much more acreage than the skunk cabbage, then we would be limiting those future options and multiplier for adding sewer later. But
Mm,
sewer later means digging up the greenway.
yeah. Well,
So
who knows what the
sewer
future
later
holds.
is the most discounted possibility.
Well, there goes that wasted dreams. Okay, that's not.
Oh
Okay,
my.
so let us keep it moving here. As soon as I find out the date of that meeting, and I will send it to you. But if you don't hear from me in a few days, you could text me and remind me just to make sure I don't forget to do that. Um, but
And Sierra, I'll send you the
interesting.
slide deck as voluminous as it is, and you can see
Yeah,
what you want to do.
that would be
It's
good.
been shared with the select board, right, Dan? I think. Oh, he
You're
Let me
can't
see.
muted.
speak.
Um,
He's
oh,
muted.
All
yeah.
right, don't
I
worry.
found it. I
I
found the
find
button. Sorry.
it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it through our select board emails, but perhaps I've been so busy with with our financial situation, it might be there.
Mm,
So I can
Yeah,
go back and look.
no worries.
Mhm.
This is a very intense time.
Yeah.
yeah, for reals. Um, Okay. Any other questions about this project and where it's going and the future?
I
Okay.
I can't thank you enough for your thoughtful engagement. It's super critical, and the kind of outreach you've done to the various nonprofit housing developers, it, that is not just a feather in our cap. It helps inform us, and it will
Hmm.
help inform the community going forward. I see that Mass Housing Partnership helping with an RFP,
Hmm.
super important. And
Okay.
another circle back with wayfinders to make sure that our feedback, what we've all learned, and their fundable product um, meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So that if we write a program that says we want this kind of units at this affordability level and whatever, this architectural guideline, that it doesn't blindside them.
Right. Of course. We definitely want to keep
Right,
that.
because we could imagine something that no one will build,
Right. And that's one
and
thing is to
that
get
would
stuff.
not be good. And there's a corollary conundrum with commercial or mixed use. So commercial with housing. I don't know whether that's going to be a housing authority interest or whether that's more on the return on investment for the town as a whole.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I've been appointed repeatedly across the street at Park Place, where the second story apartments or condominiums are all occupied, and the first floor offices are almost entirely vacant.
Yeah.
There's something problematic with the financial model, and we don't want to build that.
Right. I agree. That's never
Or
been sort
or
of a
or
priority for us.
or we don't even want to let a proposal out for an investor who would build something that would be, I don't know, not money laundering, but they're making their money in the apartments and they don't particularly care about filling up the commercial space.
Yeah. We definitely don't need vacant storefronts in our
Right.
town. That
So
wouldn't be helpful.
I've gone on long enough. Back to you.
I appreciate the updates. That's really informative. Thank you. And the props. Um, so next on our agenda is housing trust and SHA recruitment. So first of all, as we texted about briefly, not discussing, just informing, the property on Brickyard Road has received an offer and a buyer. And so that sort of negates us. And these two recent things, like opportunities that came up with both Pequot and Brickyard Road, are really just reminders of how badly we need a housing trust because the place where we got stuck was the ability to act and have money when we needed it. And so this is like, once again, this is the problem that Janet told me about when I first joined the housing authority and was like, we're building a housing trust because we keep running into this situation. And here we are 5 years later, still running into this situation, even though we've had a housing trust bylaw for 3 years. So I think we should all run for the housing trust. I might do it.
Sarah,
I know we've got Stephen and
what
we've
is the
got
process?
Joy. What was that?
What what is the process if candidates step forward? How does the trust become formed?
The candidates have to start meeting and they develop sort of a charter or a like operating principles. And then it pretty much exists. Like the bylaw made it exist. Then the trustees exist and they get selected by the select board. And then as soon as you fund it by requesting CPA funds, and then voila, you've got a trust. It's got trustees, it's got money. Um,
So
so that first
I'm
meeting
sorry.
needs to come
I'm sorry
together,
to
five
interrupt.
people.
I'm going to zero in on a question about the membership of the trust. And I and others have submitted applications to the chair of the select board,
Mhm.
and they've not been acted on.
So that
So,
is a select board. Like you two are both in the select board, and we need you and Dan to just like keep pushing this forward. I think it's because
and
it's
is
Chris's
Joy
job and Chris is
still
busy.
available?
Hmm?
Is Joy willing and available? I know
Yeah.
she was involved as a designee. Now it would be at large.
I, didn't she say something about when her husband finishes school? She
Maybe
would
that's what
be
it
available.
was. Maybe she said
Yeah,
not yet.
and is
Um,
that December? Maybe I can't remember what
maybe.
she
I
said.
can't remember either. Um,
So
Perhaps
I'm
this
sorry,
spring.
if we're going to push back on the chair of the board, which I do regularly, I'd like to have a little more information about we have identified X number of interested and apparently qualified candidates. I don't know what the number X is.
but
Joy,
that's because they're
me?
all coming to Chris. They're not coming to us. So
Okay,
And
I
that's
know
the
I'll,
one
concern.
guy from the bank and I know you, and those are the only two
Yep,
people. So I think it's only two
that
people.
may be for what it's worth.
that's not a
Yeah.
quorum. So we need more than two.
Right. Exactly.
Well, that's right. How
Have they
many, what
submitted,
is the minimum?
Well,
is
it's
it
supposed to
five
have 5 members.
or three is the minimum?
So technically it could start
Um,
even with just 3 members. Or I think it might need to have 5 members before it can start.
for all of the interest and will, I cannot understand why we're paralyzed at three candidates and no board.
I have to agree. But I
Stephen,
think a lot of the people who are interested are on this board and have thought that like maybe there's the crossover doesn't need to be or shouldn't be a thing. But it is a thing that housing authority members are on the housing trust. It's not usually the entire housing authority, but I think I'm just gonna volunteer if that's what it's gonna take to just get one third person. Like I should just do this, right? I don't have time, but
and have people filled
Well,
out volunteer applications, Stephen, that Chris and Scott have received?
I certainly have. I can tell you
Yeah.
that. It is my understanding that Chris has solicited one or two others, and how formal that is. I think she and Scott actually had a first interview with one or more candidates.
yeah.
So it's a process that I wish was closer to the authority than to other folk.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think it should fall underneath the select board.
It should be a collaborative effort. Of
Sure.
course, I think legally the select board creates
Hmm.
the board, but uh,
Maybe
sorry,
once you get past budget, you can.
Yeah, I think so too. Um,
right.
so I
Cool.
will forward you, Stephen, the email conversation I had with Chris last time we had an outside person who was interested in being on the housing trust, where I tried to get a little more clarity on the process So Matthew is the name of the person. I forget his last name. He's a bank uh president or something. But I'll just
right?
forward you this for your information.
So,
It's not
so
hurts.
I would really be happy if we get the process clear
Yeah.
and a end result scheduled. Um, I don't know the people, so I don't have any opinion whether we've got critical mass yet. But we gotta conclude it because we're gonna lose whoever is interested.
Right. Matt is
It's
going to
just
bail. Well, you know what? One thing he said to me was, I'll be on this committee, but I don't want to be on a committee that sits around and doesn't do anything. And
no, this is going to have
it's not going to, but
extreme,
right now it sure is doing nothing because it doesn't exist yet. So, I don't want
So
him
right.
to be
Sarah,
like, all right, screw you guys.
And the governance ought to be brief as hell so we can get on to doing what needs to be done.
Yeah. Janet, what were you going to say?
yeah, I was just going to suggest that you just contact Chris directly, Sarah,
Well, I've done that. I just forwarded that email to
to Stephen.
Stephen. But basically, I had said, Chris, I've been fielding some questions lately about the process people get appointed as a trustee. I'm instructing people to email you. Is there anything else you can tell me about the process? For example, what should they say and include when they email you? A resume, a description of why they're interested? And once they do that, will they be interviewing with the select board or you, or what are the next steps? And
Okay.
she said,
Yeah. The
I see you
last
sent
two
Matthew my
questions are
way.
key. Yeah.
Sounds like a good candidate. We need a couple anchors, then hopefully that will draw in the rest of the members we need. And then she said, honestly, I need to reread the buyer law to familiarize myself with the operations. Basically, this would be like any other appointment, I think. Filling out the volunteer form on our website, adding resume or at least a cover letter with more details of experience and why interested. And I said, okay, I'm glad. Yes, I had a conversation with Matthew. I think he's a great candidate. I believe he had a question or two for you, but I'm mostly hoping you'll be able to move him through the appointment process. So that's just me making my strong opinion
All
heard.
right. So with Joy at large, Matthew, me in whatever role, Sierra as chair of the housing authority, ex officio or fully participating, we're up to four. And
But we think Joy might have told us not yet. She might have told us she can't do it till like her husband's done with college. I think that's what she said.
fair
That's
enough, fair enough.
but we can get someone else. We can find someone.
We must.
Um, so yeah. I understand that like there's so many positions in this government that we need to be filled, and that Janet tried to get me to come to a thing about trying to find new select board members, and I was like, not only am I busy, but I also like literally don't know anyone who's not already on the government or has explicitly told me no, they're not interested in being on the government. Like I don't know a lot of local people um who I don't know through this. So I really don't think I can be helpful, unfortunately. But I mean, maybe I need to get out and be more social and start hanging out at the bowling alley on league night because it's clearly popping off over there. Um,
You
so our
saw that,
assignment
huh?
for next time is to make 3 new friends and try to coerce them into volunteering.
Done
On that
deal.
note, Janet, when is election you're gone after election day, is that right? Or after town meeting?
May 1st is my last day,
May 1st. So this might be your last meeting unless we meet again before.
unless we have one April 30th.
Okay, which I don't think I'm going to be able to
Lord.
pull off because I have a lot going on that week. So first of all, thank you for your service. You're amazing. Second of all, Anne and Dan, are either of you willing to be a secretary?
I do not have the capacity to do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know what I can and can't do, and I know I can't do it.
Boundaries. Boundaries are good.
And
No,
it's
it's just
not
my
fair for a
favorite.
newbie, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to do it for the short term. I think long term, my plans are. I think I shared with some people that we're going to be moving out of town, so I should be around
Whoa.
for a couple more months. But I,
What? You're
I can't.
moving? Where are
Yeah,
you
my daughter's
going?
going to school up in Greenfield, and we just spend so much time driving up there.
Oh
It's just to
yeah.
make our lives better to be there.
It'll probably make your life better to not be on like 30 different boards too. So just watch out. Don't get stuck doing that in
In
Greenfield.
Greenfield, I'll start joining those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'll
So
do it in the meantime.
Okay, that's really kind. Thank you. That'll be a stopgap. So now we need to recruit housing authority members too, because and you and me aren't going to be able to meet unless Joy shows up. So it's
Yeah.
I
I don't
guess
know what
I wish I had known Dan was moving, then I might have.
we have to buy a house and then sell a house, so we got a while.
yeah,
But it's on the plan. So
yeah.
Hey, Dan,
yeah,
you're elected to the housing authority, or are you the
I'm
delegate
I'm
from?
elected. I joined formally, so I'm a sitting member.
Good
So
for you, man.
both, yeah.
Um, as a member of the select board, is there any way that my participation helps
Sure. Yeah,
make
you can be the
make
liaison.
well make a quorum or anything? If
Hmm.
I'm ex officio, it might not.
No, but we do
Just
need
join.
a select board liaison because Dan is that right now. So we will need someone.
Dan is both elected and liaise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
so Dan can continue to be elected,
Yep.
Mhm.
and if we work it out with the Almighty, then I could be the liaise.
Well, I mean, you reappoint, your assignments, right? Your committee assignments after
Yep.
the,
Every
Yeah,
year.
so
that's
you can.
that's coming up. So, Ciara, maybe you want to message Chris about assignments for the upcoming year post-election.
Well, I mean, and do we want to take action on this right away, knowing that Dan could leave at any moment, or do we want to wait until Dan
No,
actually has
no,
to
no,
leave?
no, no, no. Have
Well,
you ever bought and sold houses? Dan
Doesn't
might
sound like any movement.
possibly leave in this calendar year.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
that I don't think that wasn't my experience anyways. When we found something we wanted to buy and then sell, it was only a couple of months.
God
Um,
bless you.
Could be.
oh,
Assuming you don't buy a house that needs a crap load of work before you move into it.
well,
Or
it
you've got
did,
a
but
big family
Yeah.
or a small family,
so
whatever.
Dan, can you just make sure whoever you sell your house to
Hmm.
wants to be active on the housing authority?
You know what I find very interesting is how many people from Glendale Road end up in town
Hmm.
politics or
Oh,
offices.
yeah.
It's so
Or are leaving town.
Yeah.
or just
Everybody's
leaving in
selling
general.
their house. I guess we'll be listing our house soon or something.
No.
Huh?
That's a good point. Dan, maybe you can give whoever buys your house can get like a $10,000 discount if they agree to join the housing authority.
Straight to the housing authority. You have to choose a role.
And
That's
the
a good
select
idea.
board and the Concom and
Yeah.
what else?
Planning,
That committee?
planning.
Yep. I did a stint on parks, but where else did I spend some time?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're on the Community Preservation Committee. You're the select board
Oh,
liaison to
that's
that.
right. I've been actually going to it now.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
So okay, so that is
I
hopeful,
noticed.
Stephen, if you'll help us out. And then it'll be harder for us to tell you to shut up and wait your turn, but
Uh,
we'll do our best to do it anyway. And
Very
I
good.
look forward to it. And again, everyone go out, make 3 new friends, bribe people to get onto the government, but not once they're in the government, right?
I don't have $1 million to bribe people to do things.
Yeah,
We
but
saw how well that worked in Wisconsin.
Yay!
Ooh,
Yay!
true. Okay, we don't want to follow in those footsteps. Um, But yeah, be social, make friends, lure them into the government. It's not a cult, I swear, is the first thing you should tell them. That really puts people at ease when you say that. Um, so, any other urgent business before we schedule our next meeting?
Hmm.
Sounds like a no. Okay, let's schedule our next meeting. So well, it all sort of depends on what happens with the whole ESA and septic question for 354. So I guess what I want to do is schedule a meeting a month from now, but like leave open the option if we need to schedule like a real quick voting meeting to just do that for 5 minutes sometime during the month of April.
Are
Um,
Wednesdays always your day?
they have been for a while, yeah. Let's see.
You've got conflicts first with Open Space Committee on the 23rd, and on the 30th with Greenways.
1 second. I want to. Then again, we usually meet virtually, and we haven't really had any Zoom conflicts thus far, so it's been pretty okay. Okay. So
Yeah, but they're also evening.
yeah, okay. Month from today, it's a Wednesday. Okay.
30th, 4 weeks from today.
True. Well, we could do that, but my end of April is absolutely
Right.
insane.
That's not good then.
Yeah, I have my big work fundraiser at the end of that week, and I have like 50 grant applications and a grant report due, so I'm gonna be a little bit flat out and it's gonna be hard for me to focus.
Good point.
So, and maybe we want to meet after the town meeting, see how that goes. So let's give ourselves a little more time, just knowing that we may have to come back earlier to vote on something. So
7th of
I guess we
May?
could do the 7th. Yeah, how do you guys feel about Wednesday the 7th at 6?
Um,
At 6.
I think it's good. I'm fine.
Okay. SHA, Wed 7th, 6 p.m. Okay. So we'll book that. I'll reach out if we need to do a vote in April to get this RFP moving along faster, once I hear back from a couple different people. And I think that's it. So Janet, this might be your last meeting or it might not. You might have a surprise April meeting, but
Meeting.
we'll keep seeing you everywhere. We'll ask you to come back at 1 year. No, I'm just kidding. We'll give you a sabbatical. That's it. Then we're coming back. So yeah, I think we're good. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.